Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about a new Model 3 and an incredible range that comes with that new Model 3, but there are a few catches, and we'll get to that right after Casey rolls that title card.
1,000 kilometers? 500 miles? Maybe? Let's find out.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We put this article down below that you can read anytime, but wait till you see the video, then go read it. But we wanted to discuss a little bit about this new Model 3 that was just released in China, China alone at this point. And the car has, get this, an 830 kilometer range. Now, if that sounds high, it is. And keep in mind that China is on a different calculation for range. They're on the CLTC cycle. So unlike the EPA or the WPLE or whatever the other ones are, you can get different ranges based on those calculations. Now, there is a conversion tool, and it does let us know that this same car on the EPA is estimated at 640 kilometers. So that's a big difference from 830. Or that 640 converts to those in my friends in the US is 397 miles of range.
This is the longest ever.
Exactly.
The original number is 516 miles. So if you can drive like the test in China, you get 516 miles on a charged battery.
Exactly.
So but those tests are not known for being realistic, so don't have that.
But keep in mind, Patrick, you looked up the standings of how much batteries in this car, right?
Yeah. So according to this article, it's right here. Wrong one.
The current one or
this new one in China. According to this article, it says it's 78.4 kilowatt hour battery pack supplied by LG Energy Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So the 78 and change is a bit more than what the current vehicles get here in North America, right? When it comes to a long range vehicle?
So long range all wheel drive. So part of the problem here is Tesla does not release this information. And so when you're looking at data, some of them list the usable amount, some of them list the total amount, and those are not the same. So I've got numbers from 78 to 82 for the long range vehicles in the US that are NMC. Obviously, the LFPs are lower than that. But so I can't say that this is any more.
Yeah.
Unless so, like I just said, if this article is quoting the usable amount, and so the actual total amount is over 80, then it might be more. But their performance packs sometimes are also larger, and sometimes they're just the same packs, and you have other. So
keep in mind, this new model from China is strictly a rear-wheel drive vehicle, so it doesn't have a dual motor. So it's the most efficient you can get in a Model 3. So if you combine that with the largest battery pack that fits in it, then you're bound to get a little bit more range than a regular that has dual motor. So
right,
you've got less weight and you've got less friction, and you gain mileage from that. So that's not a surprise. But what is interesting is that Tesla seems to be filling different niches in China that they're not doing elsewhere. Now, this may be the start of it because, of course, we know that just recently the Model Y Long was introduced in China, and just this week we saw a article that a Model Y Long was spotted in Europe. So there is, it looks like Tesla is going to be moving that out to other areas and filling those niches in other areas as well. But it is interesting that China is always the first. They get this, and it seems that Tesla is branching out. The article indicates you can now get 4 different distinct Model 3s, different types. So there's this different selection process that someone that wants a Model 3 has to do in China, a little bit more than what they have to do here in North America. Is you're picking what makes sense for you. You know, do I want the longest range possible? Do I even need that? And again, that's a tricky question to ask yourself if you've never owned an EV, because
Mhm.
we all know that the first thing that we had to our minds was that we need the longest range possible. That's what we want. The more battery, the better, is what the thought was. But now that we've owned an EV for a good period of time, that's gone away. We don't really need the longest range vehicle because, of course, 95% of the time, if not 99% of the time, we're not looking for long range. We're looking for ease of use. We're looking for a reliable charging network. We are traveling at most, 50 miles a day in a typical situation, because you know what? We're not on holidays 5 times a year. What we're doing is we're living our regular lives. We're going to work, we're going to play, we're going to grocery shop. We're doing these things that we always do, and we're within a 50-mile range typically or less every day that we operate an EV. So
Speak for yourself, Coughlin.
all right, yeah. We have an outlier somewhat in the group, but keep in mind,
I am
Casey,
exceptional.
you have changed dramatically too, just over the past year and a half, 2 years. Your long range days have dramatically shrunk. You're not doing that near as much as you were some time ago.
That's great. Yeah. So my and there's whole days where it doesn't move. Unlike previously, it would move every day, and so even mine have gotten smaller. But that's why I was liking the idea of the range extender in the Cybertruck, especially with the pie in the sky idea that you could take it out. But that was never going to happen, and then now the whole thing is canceled. But even those of us that do have the exceptional use case don't need as much as we would think we would want or need to have, especially as the recharging ability becomes even more filled in with the supercharger network.
Wouldn't you agree that's tough to explain that to someone that's never owned an EV? Because if you come to them and say, well, you can get an EV that gets 320 miles of range, or you can get this one that gets almost 400 miles, and it's like, well, the bigger one's got to be better, right? Like that's all there is to it.
That's what they would think, yeah. I think the closest people that would have a chance to understand this would be the folks who had like a gasoline delivery service, or they had a fleet car that was just somebody else always had it filled up for them when they were ready to go. I think that's the closest you can get to like, what is it like?
Yeah.
Before
it's just kind of interesting that, or is this the evolution of Tesla because they've they've picked the low hanging fruit, and now there are other levels of fruit on the tree, but they have to make their offerings a little bit different. They have to have a bigger cabin in order to attract more people that want a limousine type driving ability. In China, a lot of people will pay a driver and they will ride in the back in luxury. And that's a market that the Model Y Long is looking to get into. And I have to say that when FSD becomes a thing that's available, well, you've got your driver now. Maybe that will change North American driving habits, and we will be more adapt to just sit in the back with the family and let the car drive where it wants. We tell it where to go and it goes, and we're not concerned with it. Maybe that's where it will head, but it just seems that Tesla's evolution is that they're looking for different niches that they can fill with their existing cars. And if it takes putting in a more efficient motor, a larger battery, a larger cabin space, they're willing to do that. Whereas before, it was really regimented about here's one car, there might be two variations, and that's it. Oh, you can change colors, but other than that, this is what you get.
You get 3 other colors. So this is the right move. Folks keep getting on the, you don't have 30 different models to pick from. This is a step in that direction. As far as people who aren't new to EVs, or at least aren't new to having to pick a car by the specs, the your local electrician, how often does he actually leave the metro? He knows what his miles are, and an 89-mile van might be enough for him. But he does need enough room for all his tools without having to make 2 trips, because then the 89 is not enough if he has to make 4 trips for every call.
Right.
The limo driver, the Uber driver, the taxi driver, they might want to give you more leg room, and so a Model YL would be the way to go for that. And a Model YL versus having to redo the Model X to be cheaper and still happy for the mass consumption. I would, as an investor, I'd want them to do a Model YL. As a customer, it's like it's a little different. If I was in the market for that, this is closer to what I'm looking for. Or they can address more of the market this way, and without putting too much. I mean, they're going to invest, but without putting too much investments versus all new 30 models. We got to cancel 3 of them because nobody's bought them. 80 different paint colors.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing I see here is that this shows what we've talked about on multiple times, that iteration and gradual improvements, small steps at a time. When I, in 2016, bought my first Tesla, it had a 248-mile range. And then 2018, when we got the Model 3, it had I think it was 310 was the range, 308.
308, yeah, and then
Yeah,
up to 25 if you got lucky and the software update helped you.
Right. And then our Model Y was 330. And now here are another advancement that's almost 400 miles of range. And so it's just, continuous improvement, a little bit better aero, a little bit better battery chemistry, a little bit more efficient motor. And every year you see these just a little bit better, a little bit better. And I mean, if you were to buy 10 years ago a 400-mile EV, you'd be paying a couple $100,000 to get that thing.
Yeah.
And if you could even find it. I mean, so now is this a car that's at the standard new vehicle purchase price. It's a rear-wheel drive Model 3. So you're not spending hundreds of thousands, and you're getting incredible range that was just not even technically possible a decade ago, which is incredible.
Yeah. If it doesn't sell well, they can just stop offering it, and then it's just a software variant to keep supporting it for the people who do get it. We saw that with the Model S Executive with the 4 seats, the 4 captain's chairs instead of the rear bench. We saw that with all of S and X, where they have the swappable battery that got done maybe 4 times ever, and they didn't use it, so they canceled that. They are still innovating. It's just it doesn't look the way that we're used to seeing it with the legacies, where you'll have 50 different models that look different, and maybe underneath they are actually just 3 different cars.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just that it's something that we're just seeing it in a different way. I guess that makes more sense. That it's again it's iteration. It's taking what you have and improving upon it. And again, if they decide to knock out maybe the middle, because they're saying, well, now we've got a high range car, we've got a low range entry model car, and maybe the middle car is no longer needed because
Model S40.
Exactly. Like there can be situations where it doesn't make sense, so they're just shuffling the lineup, but they are introducing the new stuff to get people used to get people excited about a 400-mile car, and then making changes based on the buying public and what they do.
Yeah. And for those of you who say the Model S40 didn't come out, not just the software locked one, the RAV4 EV exists. That's a Tesla Model S40.
Yeah. So that's a good point. That once they have this capability, maybe they decide 350 is enough, and that the next version of the battery pack, they're going to make it a little bit smaller and lighter and do 350. But now you have a more efficient vehicle because it doesn't weigh as much. And
Yeah.
those are the kinds of engineering decisions, trade-offs you can make. And as the energy density improves, you can decide, okay, what's more important, more range or not? And as long as you keep the LFP packs as your standard range, and then the NMCs as your long range, and you make sure that there's enough gap there that if you pay for more range, you actually get something valuable out of it. That's a great way to handle this.
Yeah.
So the name they used of this new pack is extremely generic. It's coming from LG, but they call it the Advanced Ternary Battery Chemistry. So what is
That can mean anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
Really.
Is it LFP? Is it NMC? Is it something in between?
It's
Is
got to
it
be NMC, but yeah, I don't know what this
a step to
what
solid
I
batteries?
mean, yeah. There's so many little things that can be different. There's the yeah. This is impressive though, which is pretty cool.
I had one of these experimental cars. I had the Model S 90D, the original release. It had they first started putting carbon in the battery packs, and they or was it silicon or both? They had played with the chemistry, and the thing wasn't as long lived as one had hoped. And it's not the same as the 90s that you get today as part of like a warranty replacement. That's the new technology. They learned.
They learn, and it's something that, of course, they do get the data from, and they start making decisions based on that data comes in and their projections. And that's how we get better batteries. That's how we get better ranges. That's how we get better cars. So, not a surprise there for sure.
And I like they don't still are not waiting for the model years, even though a lot of it has lined up with a model year.
So let's ask our viewers this question. You being seasoned EV people, because you've been watching this forever, you probably own an EV. Is range still king in your mind? Do you,
Or like me, is it
do,
somewhere?
do you, does it, would that make the decision 400 miles over 330 miles? Is that something that you're willing to continue to pay more for because of that extra 70, 65 miles that you're getting? Does that make sense to you still today?
And what is your number where I need to hit this number, and everything above that, if it's free, I'll take it. But the extra beyond this.
Right.
What are those numbers for you?
What's your minimum? And let us know in the comments. That would be interesting to see.
Absolutely, especially if you're towing, then that changes everything.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that Cybertruck not doing the extended range anymore.
Yeah, Casey U-Haul Green is with us as always.
And oftentimes it is a U-Haul.
Casey, what do you got for shout-outs for us?
Catch us for the live show on Wednesday, and check the bell to see if perhaps one day you might find, just like last week, a bonus express episode.
Bonus extra show, exactly. Never know when they show up, unless you've got the bell on. Patrick, what do you got for us for shout-outs?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. Thanks.
Got it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Appreciate it. And give us a like button on this. Press that subscribe. Help us out. And with that, we'll get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life. Balloons!